The year is 1861. The control of the border states was a major strategic concern throughout the war. During the summer of 1861, the loyalties of Missouri were still divided, and as such, both sides still believed they could convince the state to support their cause. General Nathaniel Lyon led the Union forces. In February 1861, Lyon was made commander of the Union arsenal in St. Louis. Tensions between the Union troops stationed there and the governor of the state, Claiborne Jackson, had grown considerably. When civil war broke out, Jackson had refused to send volunteers to fight for Lincoln. Instead, Jackson had the militia muster outside the city to begin training in preparation to join the Confederacy. On 10th of May 1861, Lyon and his troops surrounded the militia under General D. M. Frost and forced it to surrender. Whilst marching the captured prisoners through St. Louis, citizens began to riot, leading to the Camp Jackson affair. Lyon ordered his troops to fire into the rioters. On May the 17th, Lyon was promoted to Brigadier General and was given command of Union troops in Missouri. He then led his troops into a series of skirmishes with the Missouri State Guard and Confederate Army. On the 10th of August 1861, the Union forces were defeated by a combined force of the Missouri militia and Confederate troops under the command of Benjamin McCulloch and Sterling Price near Springfield, Missouri, at the Battle of Wilson's Creek. Lyon was killed while trying to rally his outnumbered soldiers. Greetings, my friends, and welcome to a brand new series. Now, this is something that I have sort of mentioned in passing in my previous Empire Total War videos, and just a bit of backstory for this. I found this mod, it's the American Civil War mod for the Napoleon Total War. Now, I found this mod almost by accident. I was looking for some mods, or any new mods coming out, or any sort of additions maybe to Empire Total War, maybe some new mods coming out for that, and I stumbled across this ACW, American Civil War mod for Napoleon, and I downloaded. I sort of managed to get it to sort of work properly, and there was a few issues. You've got to take a few files from one and put it into the other. I managed to get it to work, and I was going to put a series out a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, there were a few technical issues. It wasn't very stable in terms of being able to sort of set up your armies and load them in, and then when you went to battle, you could only have a certain number of armies. When you sort of went to start the battle, if you had too many armies, it would effectively crash the mod. Fortunately, in February they released a brand new version, much more stable, a lot of issues solved as well, and problems solved. And I thought, well, I'll have it looks absolutely fascinating. It really is. I'm not very well versed in the American Civil War. I'll be absolutely honest with you. Hold my hands up. But I have been reading. It has sort of really brought my attention to the American Civil War, what was involved, and I really am fascinated by the sort of the military history behind it. It really is fascinating to read about it. And we're going to start the battle. There is a huge amount of battles available on here. I think there might be about 30 to 40 no, I beg your pardon. There's possibly, I think, 60 individual battles for the ACW. Now, there is no campaign yet. There is no campaign as we speak of yet for the American Civil War. Otherwise, I'd be doing a campaign. Mark my words, I'd be a campaign. There are at the moment only individual battles, sort of maybe the bigger battles that most people might have heard of, and then there's also the smaller battles as well that maybe led up to the bigger battles. If you understand what I mean? So some of the smaller battles sort of build into a larger campaign, as it were, into a larger battle, which we'll get to in a long time. But I'm going to start with the very first one that they have on the list here, which is Wilson's Creek. Now, of course, I knew nothing about this battle at all, but I have been doing some research upon it, and it was quite the battle. In fact, it was the first battle where a Union general was killed. Nathaniel Lyon was actually killed in this one, and it brought one of the sort of southern states was sort of, deciding whether to join the Confederacy or join the Union. It brought them into the Confederacy. What happened, sort of the things behind the scenes brought them into the Confederacy, and it was a huge battle. In fact, it was a sort of a victory. Some would say a technical victory for the Confederacy, but in other ways, in every other way, it was a victory for the Confederacy, because they managed to push the Union troops out of the region. Out of the state, should I say. So it really was one of the pivotal battles. Maybe I hadn't really heard it myself, but I read about it. It really is fascinating what happened there, and the sort of the politics behind it really was fascinating. I'd recommend this mod to any of you. Now, I've done a quick battle, but not of Wilson's Creek, just to test it out, see what it looked like. they've done a fantastic job. The modders in this have done an absolutely wonderful job on it. They really, really have. I do commend them on an absolutely wonderful mod. It really is just absolutely breathtaking, some of the stuff they've done. But as you can see here, now when I was doing the research for it, I wanted to try and bring the feel of the battle to this. Now, of course, you've got to remember, this battle is not going to be an accurate representation of what actually happened on the day in terms of numbers. You simply cannot. Unfortunately, with this mod as well, you're only able to put 3 armies per sort of, I think called it alliance here, but per sort of side. You now have to have 3 armies. But on the day of the battle, the main battle of Wilson's Creek, there were a few skirmishes off the side. But effectively, what was happening was you had the Confederate Army and the Missouri State Militia were numbering 12,000 in total. And up against those, the Union troops had roughly about 6,000. Now, I did find varying numbers of Union troops and Confederacy troops. There were Union troops I've seen figures of 5,400, 6,000, slightly over 6,000, and for Confederacy sort of as low as 10,000, and then up to 12,000. But unfortunately, there's no way I can represent those exact numbers here. But effectively, the Union troops are outnumbered 2-1. So what I have done is I've managed to sort of bring the numbers to that number. So what we've got here, as you can see, this is the army that I'm going to be leading here, this army here, which has some mounted infantry in it and predominantly volunteer infantry. Now, I know that there's mainly the state militia formed up a huge part of the army. Unfortunately, you can only have, as you can see, you've got state militia here, you can only have 3 regiments of state militia. So, I mean, as you can see, you're already limited to what you can do. So, actually, I could probably take some of these skirmishers out and put these state militias and these militias in here. So I'll take these gentlemen out. Actually, I do beg your pardon. This here, I was leading actually the Confederate force. You're also limited to the number of troops you can have in terms of volunteer regiments. So as you can see here, I've already used up my maximum amount of volunteer unit. You are limited to the regiments you can use. You can't just indefinitely keep choosing regiments. The regiments have a limit to them. So not, you have maybe 8 volunteer infantry regiments. You can only have 3 militia. So this was the sort of the professional sort of Confederacy army at the time that came into Wilson's Creek. The other 2 armies you can see here are meant to be state militia. So unfortunately, we have 3 regiments of these. I have had to use volunteers. They did, though, outgun the Union forces in a particular battle. Now, of course, if any of you have any other different information to this, and perhaps I am wrong, and there's a very good chance I am wrong with some of my numbers, some of my sort of my build up towards this, and some of the units I'm putting into battle here, please, as always, constructive criticism is always welcome. Please, in the comments, put it down. I might have got this completely wrong, but I've done my best to do some research and try and find that right balance between what was there at the time and this. Remember, it's impossible to accurately represent what went on at that time. And of course, you've got a lot of cannon here. You can put 24 pounders, but at the time those weren't used. Mostly was light infantry, light artillery. So I'm using light artillery for most of them. There were more mounted infantry units than this, but again, you're only limited to 2 at the time for this. And you can see I've got state militia for this one. Now, this army as well has state militia as well. So there were 2 state militia armies in terms of the Confederacy, and there's one Confederate army itself. So as you can see, I've actually written the figures down. This is roughly about 8,000 troops here, give or take a couple of hundred either way. So I've roughly tried to get it 2-1 as it was on the day. And as you can see here, on the Union side, you've then got, you can see the Robinson's division, you see O'Malley, these divisions weren't in the fight, I realise that, but I also read that the Union army was able to repel at least 3 attacks by the Confederacy army, because at the time, the Union army was better equipped, better trained, it just had a little bit more resolve in terms of when it was attacked. It had better organisation, should I say, and also they had time to build the defences up in that particular location. Now, I know that some will say, well, the Confederacy had good units as well. I understand that, my friends, but I'm just trying to go on the broad spectrum of what I read. They did repel 3 assaults by the Confederacy. Now, the Confederacy, in the end, overwhelmed them with numbers. They had to withdraw because they were running out of ammunition. They were losing men. The casualty rate was quite high in this battle. So again, some of these units you'll see, and also some of these elite units you'll see. Elite units, these are unit veteran. I'm trying to sort of represent sort of the stiffen the resolve of the Union armies, because if you've got nearly 8,000 up against just over 4,000 men here, you know what we don't want is a battle just to swamp them and it will be over in a couple of minutes. Of course, these aren't probably going to hold for 3 attacks. We're not going to be attacking them 3 times. It's going to be 1 attack, but I just wanted to give that sort of general feel of it. As you can see here, this army here is packed with some good Irish Brigade, which I know wasn't involved in the battle, but it's just to represent the sort of more disciplined troops, as you understand. I mean, it gives the army more discipline. It sort of represents what happened in the field a bit more accurately. So I know these units weren't involved in the fight, but they just represent a little bit more steel in terms of defence. That's all I'm trying to incorporate into this battle. You've got the Pennsylvanians. I know that some of these units here, they had mounted cavalry. They didn't have as much artillery either. I did bring up the composition of the armies as well to try and get the artillery right. But again, I'm just trying to sort of condense it down into this battle for us. Again, if you think it's too big, let me know. If you'd like to see a smaller battle, let me know. But I wanted a sort of grand battle to start with, and really to sort of dig out my teeth into it, as it were. And of course, I will be doing a reverse battle of this for the next episode. The sort of next video of this will be a reverse, where I will take one of these armies here, and we will try and repel or defend against these 3 armies coming in. So there'll be a reverse video of this as well. But anyway, friends, I'm going to start the battle now. So we are going to be the attackers, of course. The Union are going to be the defenders, and we'll see what happens here. But this should be absolutely fantastic. I really can't wait to do this. So let's start the battle. And as you can see, look at the battlefields. The battlefields are absolutely wonderful. They really, really do. So we've got 3 armies, and we've got the CP. Of course, we've got to allow the AI to sort of deal. The AI are going to act differently to what I would do, and of course I can't control all the armies. It's just a huge swathe to control. But we shall have a real good battle here. I've got that feeling in my bones. We'll have a good battle. We might just completely swamp them. Or they might hold out and do us this. But look at this. I mean, look at the scale of the battle here. What a wonder. I mean, look at it. Absolutely huge battlefield. But my word, they haven't done a wonderful job with this mod. Look at that. Look at the size. Look at the forces here arrayed. Absolutely fantastic. But look at the creek here. I mean, look at the quality of the graphics here. Look at the quality here. It is absolutely breathtaking. It really is. I mean, and look at the unit modelling as well. It really is absolutely fantastic when you get down close. I do have this on ultra graphics as well. But I mean, look at it. Oh, look at the modelling here. Considering how old this sort of engine is as well. For the modders to pull out this kind, and you really do get the feel of it. There's the Confederacy, of course. You've got the volunteer regiments here. So just going to turn down that sound a little bit there, my friends. It's a little bit loud there. We don't destroy the gun. But I've turned the music off because, of course, sometimes YouTube isn't too friendly in terms of music. Even if the music is made completely original, it's, you can have a few problems. Right, so as you can see here, we've got a massive deployment zone here and a huge army at our disposal. But this is what the armies would have looked. I mean, there were this many. There were 12,000 Confederate troops. You can imagine how big their lines were, up against 6,000 Union troops. So we're sort of trying to represent what's going on here. But I just love the way this divides, the creek divides the whole battlefield here. It is fabulous. So I'll quickly show you what we control here. We control these here, as you can see, running all the way down the line here. We don't have any infantry. We do have cavalry, and all the rest you can see here. The other armies are involved. So of course we are the attacks. We are going to advance upon the, and the Union is way over in the distance there. I mean, I love the depth of the battlefield. It is just huge. The Union troops are way over here. That's what I love about this. Look at the depth here of this. As you can see, we've got all these different points here that can be captured and taken. But the Union will be down here, and that's how massive. I love the depth of that. I really do. Anyway, friends, I think enough talking on my part. Let us begin this battle. Actually, let's have a look at the cavalry here. I mean, look at the cavalry as well. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that. What a brilliant, brilliant mod that this has been. What a credit it is to those modders to do this. Right, let's get our armies ready. At least we know what we've got here. We will be advancing pretty much in one long stretch here. We will eventually move our troops into a souk. We need to get to them first. Let's start the battle. Now these you see here are the other army commanders moving. What we are going to do is we are going to begin moving. Oh, look at this, and there is the Union. Look at that, all the way over there is the Union forces, and we can't see them. We don't know what is there. They may come to meet us, but look at this. What a joy. We won't be running because we don't want our forces to be absolutely shattered when they get there. We don't have any cannons, so we're relying on the other commanders here to fire and position their guns ready. As you can see, they're starting to move into position. Look at that. I don't know where the horsemen are, but looks like it's a ghost regiment here. For some reason.
Yes, sir! Infantry elite!
We're going to take our time here. We don't want these troops to be exhausted. But on the other hand, I mean, look at these. These gentlemen are absolutely going for it here. Get ourselves into position. Is that a dry bed? Look at that, that's even a dry river bed here. What a wonderful sight that is. But we don't know what we're up against. We've got a long way to go. Oh, there they are. There's the troops. Now we're starting to see the defenders. And they're walking towards us, so it looks like they're going to come to meet us here. This will be an absolutely exceptional battle here. But this is not all of them, remember. There's a lot of troops up. Good grief. I mean, look what they've done here. Haven't they done a fantastic one? Goodness me. So again, we can't see what they're doing. We're a long way off from each other. What we'll probably try and do is probably set up we're going to attack them. We'll try and outflank them if we can along here. We don't know how far that line stretches, but we'll try and outflank them if possible. We've always got the we'll do is we'll probably set these into groups here. I think I've got all the groups on this side of the on this side here. Actually, what we'll do. Oh, look at that! They're going through the
Infantry elite! Infantry reporting! Infantry reporting!
So all these gentlemen are going to be put into one group, and then the rest of these gentlemen here, which are ours, are going to be put into another group. That way we know we've got the sort of the right flank and the left flank all ready to go here. My goodness me, they're absolutely pushing on so far here. The artillery's way out in front of the armies here. Again, we're not going to push, we're not going to rush. We don't want our troops to be exhausted. Hood's division here. Now, I know you can see Hood's division here, but of course, I know they weren't involved in that camp battle, but my goodness me. What a wonder. How are we doing on this side here? Going through the creek here. And again, I'd like to hear from any of you who really are well versed in the American Civil War. I know there's probably a lot of them, my American council members that really are probably very well versed, and indeed non-American council members who are probably well versed in the minutiae of the American Civil War. I must confess I'm not, but I really am enjoying learning about it. This has been a wonderful battle to learn about Wilson's Creek. I've learned quite a bit about it, especially the Union commander, who was an incredibly pro-Union general. Oh my goodness me, look at the size of the Union army here. This is absolutely mind-blowing. And they're running and trying to beat us to the punch here. Hopefully they can get themselves organised. Ooh, they're already starting the guns. Listen to the gunfire. Oh my word. I absolutely love that. Wow. Oh my goodness me. Things like that really do get the old blood pumping. Listen to the incoming fire as well. That sort of incoming fire sound. Some of these gentlemen are absolute mad men. Confederate general moving in already. Right, let's get ourselves into some coherent whole here. Me. That general is dead. I don't believe it. He's got himself killed. That's brilliant. But this is what happened. See, this is what happened. Oh my goodness me! The sound of those guns coming in. Right, we have to get a view in on us. We've got to move here. Don't you run, lads. Don't you dare run. The sound effects of these guns coming in, it really does. Come on now, gentlemen. You've got to counter fire. Come on now. Counter fire. Killed themselves by firing into a tree. Oh my goodness me, that is enough to stir the blood, my goodness me, sir. And these guns are firing here as well. Wow. I'm not quite sure where they're firing, but we can get to this troop so we can get these gentlemen over here. And why these gentlemen are here, but we'll try and find if we could. Look at this battle here, right across the creek here. We've got them divided here. Most of their forces are on this right flank here, but the left flank is very weak. We'll get our forces in position, we might push then. But they've come right out. Oh! They're on that gun, they're on that gun battery there. There's a battery here as well. The blazes. lads. Come on, gentlemen, get in line here. Move back here to defend the guns here, but look at the guns firing here. They're moving in to confront them here. We'll detach these two regiments here to move in here. Broken. There, lads. Oh, look at the front here. My goodness me. Got a closing quick now. It's double time. Oh, look at this. They've got me broken. This is what it was like as well. There was hand-to-hand fighting here as well. Broken as well. Oh my goodness me, these regiments are just going to fold here. The Union really is doing a fantastic job here defending this. The general's all the way back here. What is he doing all the way back here? He's meant to move with his troops. Let's get him over here. Let's get looking for it here. Oh, what a shot. Oh my goodness me, the whole Confederate front is breaking here. Wow. Can we break this flank here? At least we can break something here.
Our men are running, sir.
Oh, we're sitting on the back foot though. That's a lot on that. And they've gone as well. Oh, the whole line is breaking here. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is just insanity. There's only our troops that are really holding any line here.
Our men are running, sir.
They've been broken. It just proves. Oh, we've got some Union troops here folding here. They're starting to buckle. They're starting to buckle, sir. Let's swing right around here. Let's close the door on them here. That's it, lads, we're starting to push them back now. That's more like it. Let's push the advantage here. Oh, they're starting to buckle now. Now they've pushed really deep in here now. Oh, what a fight this has been, my goodness me. It's broken, sir. You have to give them credit here, the Union troops.
Our men are running, sir.
We know. The Union troops have fought. Apps, look at that. They're all right down here. They've repelled a massive assault here by us. Can we actually break them now? Swing them now. Let's close the door shut here. It's about holding our line. We've got to hold out our line here. If we can hold the line, then we set ourselves fair then for a good fight.
We have killed their general, sir. Yes. Now they must break.
Just all look at that has had a profound effect here. The artillery fire is just a wonder. Look at that thud of that gun. Wow. Got them, sir. Or have we? They've still got a massive force here. Got to get behind them. If you can get behind them, cut off their retreat. We'll have caught them right on the open here, sir. Will we get the same result as what actually happened on the day there, on the day of fighting?
Infantry elite!
Because we say don't stand behind the line, sir. Get yourself over here. I think the gunfire from the cannon is just jaw-droppingly good. Listen to the thud. It's the thud. Oh, there's different caliber of guns. It's wonder. Goodness me, they smash through here. And what they've done is they've pulled troops back to here. Hayes Division incoming here. Fire, lads, keep firing. We've got to get every single force here, even though they retreated back into the fight here. Have we got them? Have we finally got them here? On the run. What an absolute wonder of a fight. My goodness, I've got to admit I have enjoyed this considerably. Come on, gentlemen. Get the cavalry in there. Still in good order. They're still in good order. Colwell's division. Still in good order. think we've got them. I think we've got them, sir. Look at the creek. It is absolutely filled with dead. My goodness me. Wow. Absolutely incredible.
Infantry reporting. Engage. Infantry reporting.
Oh, they're almost buckled there. They are almost buckled there. Have we got them? I think we've almost got them. They're still standing firm here in the creek.
Our men are running, sir.
Blazes. Got them. Look, as they're retreating, we can hit them hard here. They've got to retreat now. We've actually almost we have won the day here, but only because we had the numbers, I think. But my goodness me, if the Union troops stayed in defensive formation, we'd have had a heck of a fight. We did, because I mean, look at this. If they'd have stayed in defensive position, I think the Union might have had a good fight, might have had a good chance of winning this. But they did repel a huge force. I mean, our force has been absolutely butchered here. Wow, what a fight. We want this. Move in, sir. This army is still going here. See what I mean? Look at that. Even now, we're still losing regiments. Must be those guns. Oh, there they are there. Oh. Wait a minute. Gentlemen, moving. What a wonder. I have thoroughly enjoyed this battle. My goodness me. What a fight this has been. We're running, sir. They're retreating. I've got them at last. Yeah, they've had enough, sir. Oh, there's only Wadsworth Division left. Oh, what a fight, but look how many little forces we've lost. Look how many we've lost here. Massive amount. They're almost gone, they've almost gone, sir. What a joy. They've gone, so we've won, victorious, but what a fight. What a fight. I mean, look at the zone, look at all the artillery fire, the craters, look at the creek, it was absolutely, it runs red, sir. Wow, what a battle. Wow, what a mod, my goodness me. It's quite breathtaking, to be honest with you. Wow, what a fight that was, my friends. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. My goodness me, look at the casualties. We lost 2,124, 2,494. We lost 1,872, 1,416, 832. My goodness me, but they gave us a heck of a fight. Considering how vastly outnumbered they were. What a fight that was. I really hope you enjoyed that, my friends, because I know I did. I know it's quite a large battlefield and I was zooming around quite a bit, but I hope you got the sort of the vibe, you know, the real sort of depth from that. Wow, what a fight. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and there's going to be plenty more. I am going to do another video where we sort of go on the defensive with the Union. I'm not sure if the other commander is going to go on the defensive. He's probably going to charge out, but I'll probably try and go on the defensive, or move out with him and try and go on a more defensive footing if possible. Set up the guns maybe a little bit better as well. Get them firing in a little bit more of an efficient way. But what a fight that was. I hope you enjoyed this. This is just the start of the first battle of many. I think there's about 60 battles. So I hope you've enjoyed this, my friends. Whatever you're doing, please be safe. And again, please keep your comments coming down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Please let me know if there's anything you'd change. Do you want the battles to be a little bit smaller? Are you okay with the scale of them? As always, constructive criticism is always welcome, my friends, and any comments you have as well, always welcome. Please keep comments down below. Hope you've enjoyed it. Whatever you're doing, please be safe, my friends. But until next time, bye for now.